Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to BD Views. I am Mursaleen Siddiqui. The story of student politics in Bangladesh today feels like the Greek myth of Icarus. Icarus flew with wings of wax and feathers. His father warned him, "Don't fly too high, or the sun will melt the wax. Don't fly too low, or the sea will soak the feathers." But Icarus, filled with pride, flew too close to the sun. His wings melted, and he fell into the sea. This story is about ego, blind loyalty, and the failure to listen. Right now, student politics in Bangladesh is at a crossroads. We see three main groups: Chhatra Dal, the leftist organizations, and the Islami Chhatra Shibir. Recent elections in 5 major universities have sent a shock wave through the system. The results are clear. Chhatra Dal is losing ground. Their strategy is failing. On the other hand, Shibir is gaining trust among the new generation. For years, Chhatra Dal has lived under the shadow of the BNP. They rely on the party's identity rather than building their own. This has hurt them. The new generation of students wants a vision, not just a shadow. Chhatra Dal made a huge mistake. They assumed that anyone who dislikes Jamaat-e-Islami would automatically vote for them. This wasn't just a political mistake, it was political laziness. They stopped working because they thought victory was guaranteed. Meanwhile, Shibir focused on the ground game. They helped students with libraries, tuition support, and cultural activities. They didn't just talk about politics, they solved daily problems. To the average voter, Shibir became a protector of student interests, while Chhatra Dal remained a political entity focused only on power. Chhatra Dal's failure isn't just about hard work, it's about their story. They tried to attack Shibir by calling them pro-Pakistan. They thought this would win votes, but they misunderstood the modern student. Today, many students see anti-India sentiment as a key part of their identity. Because Shibir is seen as a strong anti-Indian force, Chhatra Dal's attacks actually made Shibir more popular. Instead of presenting a new vision for the future, Chhatra Dal spent all their time criticizing their rivals. They became reactive rather than proactive. While they were shouting slogans, Shibir was presenting candidates who were academically bright, polite, and morally disciplined. For a general student, the choice became easy. The leftist organizations are also in crisis. They have strong ideas, but they are divided into too many small groups. They talk about social justice and progress, but they can't turn those slogans into votes. In a world where politics is polarized between pro-India and anti-India camps, the leftist agenda feels irrelevant to many. Having intellectual capital is good, but without political capital, you cannot win an election. If Chhatra Dal continues to act only as a support wing for the BNP, they will disappear. They need internal democracy. They need to bring new young leaders to the front. Most importantly, they need to clean their image. Charges of extortion and violence have stained them. They need to become a student-centric organization again. If we look deeper, Chhatra Dal's struggles reflect the struggles of the BNP itself. To win the next national election, the BNP needs the youth. But Chhatra Dal's behavior is pushing young voters away. People are asking a dangerous question. What is the difference between Chhatra Dal and Chhatra League? For years, Chhatra League was criticized for violence and corruption. Chhatra Dal had a chance to be different. Instead, they often acted as a mirror image of what they claimed to hate. We can look this through the lens of philosophy. Antonio Gramsci talked about hegemony. He said, "You can't just rule by force. You need the consent of the people." Chhatra Dal uses muscle power to control campuses. This might give them control today, but it doesn't give them cultural hegemony. They don't have the students' hearts. Hannah Arendt, another great thinker, said that violence is not power. Violence is a sign that power is weak. Chhatrodal's aggression is a sign of their internal weakness. Michel Foucault argued that true power comes from knowledge. If Chhatrodal wanted to lead, they should have led the conversation on education budgets, research, and digital skills. Instead, they stayed trapped in a culture of fear and obedience. Jean-Paul Sartre spoke about authentic choice. He said we're responsible for our freedom. Many Chhatrodal members aren't choosing freely, they're just following the old path of violence and slogans. This is what Sartre called bad faith. They're ignoring their responsibility to change. The mass uprising of 2024 brought a massive hope for change. People wanted a new kind of politics. If Chhatrodal brings back the old occupier culture to campuses, it's not just their failure, it's a tragedy for the nation. The German philosopher Jürgen Habermas proposed communicative action. This means making decisions through logic, dialogue, and mutual respect. Chhatrodal's future depends on this. Will they stick to the old violent ways, or will they move toward a democratic, knowledge-based politics? Chhatrodal is acting like Icarus. They flew on the wings of the BNP's past success. They ignored the warnings. They thought their wax would never melt. But Shibir was building stronger wings by focusing on student discipline and honesty. Now, Chhatrodal is losing its height. They are losing trust. The lesson is clear. Organizations that do not look in the mirror will eventually fall. History is not kind to those who are blinded by pride. Politics is not just about remembering the past. It is about being honest in the present. The group that understands the times, listens to the people, and controls its ego will win. Chhatrodal must change now. If they don't, they won't be an asset to the BNP. They will be a burden. The 2024 generation is watching. They don't want shadows. They want leaders. If Chhatrodal cannot provide that, the Icarus of student politics will find itself at the bottom of the sea while others take flight. That's all for today. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep watching BD Views. If you find our reports insightful, please subscribe to our channel. Allah Hafiz.